Welcome to my channel Sella Buzz. Doris Day's grandson may not be a household call, but his connection to the legendary actress has continually sparked interest. Now at 41, he's in the end establishing up about something lovers have long suspected from his personal existence, his courting together with his iconic grandmother. His revelation is shedding new mild on a facet of Doris Day that few ever knew. Let's take a closer look at what he has to say and why it is leaving all and sundry speak me. Doris Mary Ankoff changed into, born on April 3, 192, 22, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Her parents, Frederick Wilhelm von Hoff, a tune teacher and choir master, and Alma Sophia Weltz, a homemaker, had been of German descent. Doris became the youngest of three youngsters. Her brother Richard died earlier. Then she turned into born, and her brother Paul was a few years older, developing up in a modest household throughout the Great Depression. Doris faced challenges early on, her dad and mom. Marriage was strained main to their eventual divorce, a rare occurrence at the time which deeply affected younger Doris. Regardless of these hardships, she discovered solace in tune and dance passions that would form her destiny at the age of 12. Doris gained a dance contest by status on her arms for extra than 3 hours. Incomes here unfastened dance classes. This victory showcased her determination and resilience. However, at 14, a sad automobile twist of fate shattered her leg, derailing her goals of turning into a professional dancer. Docs taken into consideration amputation, but after multiple surgeries she became restricted tubed for over a year. All through this era of immobility, Doris grew to become to making a song, locating inspiration in the melodies of Ella Fitzgerald. Recognizing her daughter's vocal talent, Elma enrolled Doris in making a song classes with Grace. Grace quickly observed Doris's top-notch gift, setting the degree for her destiny in music by way of 15. Doris started outperforming professionally. Incomes $5 per night time at a local Chinese restaurant one evening. While making a song at a neighborhood nightclub, she struck the eye of band chief Barney Rapp. Impressed by using her voice, Rapp wanted her as his girl vocalist. However, because of her age, Doris needed to be 18 to perform in venues, serving Al a testimony to her determination to seize opportunities. In 1939, at 17, Doris followed the degree called Doris Day at Rapp's notion, inspired by her rendition of the tune Day After Day. To begin with hesitant, she grew accustomed to the call, which might soon come to be synonymous with Hollywood stardom. On March 15, 1940, at just 18, Doris Day joined Les Brown's band, marking a turning point in her career. Overcoming initial degree fright, she impressed the band leader together with her rendition of Embraceable You, securing her position as the lead vocalist. Her time with the band became marked by using both triumphs and private tragedies. In 1941, the same time as journeying with the band, Doris acquired the devastating information of her brother Paul's dying in an automobile twist of fate. Notwithstanding her grief, she selected to perform that nighttime, handing over a heartfelt overall performance that moved the audience to tears. This resilience have become a hallmark of her profession. In 1945, Doris finished her first major hit with Sentimental Journey, a track that resonated deeply with soldiers returning domestic from World War II. Apparently, she recorded the tune while fighting a cold, which lent her voice a distinctive husky quality. The music sold over 1,000 copies in its first 12 months, cementing her popularity as a rising star. In 1947, Doris embarked on a solo profession, signing a 7 to 12 months $1 million agreement with Columbia Records, an unprecedented deal for a female artist at the time. Initially, she faced challenges with the songs selected for her, finding them dull and outdated. After advocating for more modern-day material, she recorded It's Magic, which became a huge hit, promoting over 2 million copies and earning an Oscar nomination. Remarkably, she recorded the tune in a single take, leaving the studio target audience in awe. Her success and track opened doorways to Hollywood. In 1948, songwriters Jules Stein and Sammy Cahn recommended her for the movie Romance on the High Seas. No matter having no earlier appearing enjoy, Doris auditioned and become solid in the lead role by using director Michael Curtis, who praised her as the maximum ideal girl I've ever seen. The film's fulfillment marked the beginning of her illustrious film career during the 1950s. Doris starred in a sequence of success musicals consisting of Calamity Jane 1953 and The Pajama Recreation 1957. In Calamity Jane, she portrayed a bold frontiers lady performing her personal stunts and even breaking a rib in the course. While filming, the movie turned into a box workplace hit grossing over $37 million. The pajama sport similarly showcased her versatility, contributing to its $5 million profits and solidifying her popularity as a leading female in Hollywood. Doris Day might also have been America's sweetheart, but her non-public lifestyles turned into something but a fairy story at the back of her spectacular smile and DC appeal on display. She persevered. Heartbreak, betrayal, and a string of bothered relationships that regularly left her feeling powerless in her own existence. Her first marriage at the age of 17, to trombonist Al Jordan, was the start of a cycle of ache in spite of her mom's strong objections. Doris was swept up in what she believed turned into love. The fact, however, was a long way greater sinister. Jordan changed into jealous, possessive, and violently abusive. The first time he hit her turned into the day after their wedding ceremony. From then on, the violence escalated. Jordan accused Doris of infidelity at each flip, and his rage had become uncontrollable. At the same time as pregnant with their best infant, Terry, Doris suffered one in every of Jordan's most brutal assaults. He had desired her to have an abortion, and while she refused, he battered her so critically that she nearly miscarried in her 8th month of being pregnant. He drove her to an remote vicinity with a gun, threatening to kill both of them. Doris, with quick wondering and sheer survival instincts controlled to escape the revel in, left her scarred for existence. And even though she gave start to a healthful infant boy in February 1942, she knew she could not live in the marriage. She filed for divorce, and in no way looked again. However, the wounds Jordan inflicted on her lasted. Doris could later admit that from that day forward, she should never sit calm, ably inside the front seat of an automobile, without being reminded of that terrifying night. Her second marriage to musician George Widler regarded like a sparkling begin that they had met his bandmates, and he appeared to offer the companionship she longed for. But rapidly after they wed, in 1946, Widler grew bloodless and distant. The very last blow got here when he admitted he could not cope with being married to a person whose fame overshadowed his own. After simply 8 months, their marriage ended. Doris changed into devastated, then got here. Martin allured the guy who would change her life in approaches she should have in no way imagined. He regarded, committed, adopting her son Terry and taking over as her manager for almost decades. She located all her trust in him, ignorant of the deception going on behind the curtain. What Doris didn't know became that Mueller and his business accomplice, Jerome Rosenthal, had been secretly mismanaging her budget, funneling her income into failed investments and fraudulent enterprise ventures without her understanding her entire fortune, well worth what could be over $150 million. These days turned into disappearing. However, the betrayal failed to prevent there, while Mueller all of a sudden died in 1968. Doris located the entire extent of the deception. She learned that, not handiest become she penniless, but Muir had additionally secretly signed her up for a television show, the Doris Day Show. Without her consent, she had no desire but to follow through with the commitment, as it was the best way to pay off the staggering debts left in his way. She fought an extended legal warfare towards Rosenthal and become presented $22 million in damages in 1974. But due to insurance negotiations, she received simplest a fraction of that quantity. Nonetheless, the emotional harm turned into irreparable. Doris, a girl who had once been on the pinnacle of Hollywood achievement, were left damaged and betrayed by means of the man she depended on most. As Doris Day's Hollywood career waned, every other passion took center stage: animal welfare. She had usually been an animal lover. However, it changed into a demanding experience from her early life that fueled her determination as a younger woman. She had a canine named Tiny, who became tragically hit by way of an automobile. Doris was devastated. The helplessness she felt in that moment stayed along with her, and as she grew older, she vowed to commit her existence to defense of animals. Even all through her Hollywood years, Doris refused to flip a blind eye to animal suffering. At the same time as filming The Man Who Knew Too Much in Morocco, she became appalled by Themis' treatment of animals on set. She refused to keep working till something turned into carried out. Her demands had been met, and the animals were well cared for. demonstrating not most effective her influence, however, also her unwavering moral compass. Her passion culminated within the founding of the Doris Day Puppy Basis in 1978. What started as a small effort to support nearby rescues quickly elevated right into a larger movement. The muse became later named the Doris Day Animal Basis DDAF and centered on broader problems, inclusive of spaying and neutering packages to save you puppy overpopulation. In 1995, she released World Spay Day, a marketing campaign that raised awareness about the significance of spaying and neutering. Pets have become an international motion attaining over 70 nations and enhancing the lives of millions of animals at her domestic in Carmel Valley, California. Doris created a sanctuary for animals in need. She personally rescued endless puppies and gave them a safe vicinity to stay. It was now not uncommon for her to have 30 puppies at a time, each treated with the love and care they deserved. Doris can also have stepped far away from Hollywood. However, her influence in the world of animal welfare grew more potent. She lobbied for legislative modifications, spoke out against animal cruelty, and used her celebrity status to convey interest to the reason she cared about most. Even in her later years, Doris persisted to dedicate her time and assets to protecting animals. In 2011, at the age of 89, she surprised everyone with the aid of freeing a brand new album, My Coronary Heart. The album featured previously recorded songs, which includes numerous written by means of her overdue son Terry. The deeply non-public report changed into a commercial success, making Doris the oldest artist to acquire a top 10 album with New Cloth in the UK. In spite of her fulfillment, she remained deeply non-public, averting public appearances and interviews. Her final public appearance got here on her 97th birthday in 2019, when she thanked her supporters for persevering with her mission. Just a few weeks later, she handed away peacefully at her home. Her legacy extended far beyond Hollywood. She became greater than just an actress and singer. She turned into a champion for the unvoiced. Whilst the sector recollects her for her golden voice and infectious smile, folks that in reality knew her understood that her best role become not at the silver screen, but within the lives of the countless animals she saved. But even as Doris devoted herself to the reason closest to her coronary heart, a shadow loomed over her final years. A troubling family dispute was unfolding behind the curtain, one which would go away her handiest grandson Ryan Meller close out of her existence completely. And while Doris Day handed away, that painful fact got here to light. Doris Day's very last years should have been packed with warm temperature and connection, surrounded by means of family and the animals she loved. However, at the back of the picturesque lifestyles in Carmel Valley, something unsettling became taking place. Her most effective grandson Ryan Melcher, who had grown up idolizing his grandmother from afar, observed himself absolutely close out of her existence for over 14 years. The heartbreaking truth changed into discovered in 2019, while Doris passed away. Ryan, like the rest of the world, discovered approximately her demise through Facebook. For Ryan, this painful revelation showed what he had long suspected. Someone were retaining him away from his grandmother. The problem began after the loss of life of Doris's simplest baby, Terry Meller, in 2004. Terry, a reputable track producer, had usually been a constant presence in his mom's life. Although their courting had its ups and downs, they have been deeply linked. His passing left a void, and without Terry, a bridge among them. Ryan's dating with Doris commenced to fracture rapidly after Terry's death. Doris invited Ryan to dinner, seemingly extending an olive branch in hopes of reconnecting. It was a second Ryan had been looking forward to, because his mother and father divorced in 1997. His bond with Doris had become strained. This dinner invitation become a risk to rebuild what were lost. However, before Ryan ought to even see his grandmother, a man named Bob Bashara stepped in. Bashara, Doris's commercial enterprise manager, summoned Ryan to a non-public assembly at the Cypress Inn, a boutique inn in Carmel that Doris co-owned. There Ryan was met with a cold and calculated question. "Why do you need to see?" Doris bowled over and confused. Ryan later recalled, "Because she's my grandmother." But the reaction he obtained was devastating. Bashara informed him that he would now not be allowed to see her. The blame, he said, lay with Ryan's dad and mom and beyond own family conflicts. The assembly ended, and so did Ryan's get admission. Toto, his grandmother, over the years trees to reconnect, were met with silence. Bashara had reportedly tightened his manage over Doris's life, putting in protection gates around her domestic and limiting get entry. To her, the once welcoming superstar who had spent decades commencing her coronary heart to fanatics and animals alike was now complete isolated through the time Doris passed away in 2019 at the age of 97. Ryan had come to phrases with the truth that he would in no way get to mention. Goodbye, however, the pain in their lost years weighed heavily on him inside the days following her demise. Ryan broke his silence in a Facebook submit, revealing the heartbreaking truth in their estrangement. His phrases struck a nerve with the general public who had continually believed Doris to be a loving, own, family-orientated girl. To all those who've asked, I obtained the news of my grandmom's passing like maximum of you on social media. I changed into not accepted to peer me grandmother for 14 years. Way to her manager Bob Bashara, who also treated her property and managed. Get admission to her lifestyles. There's a lot extra to the story. However, it is a heartbreaking truth I ought to stay with. The revelation greatly surprised Doris Day's longtime lovers. How ought to a female, acknowledged for her warm temperature and generosity, be kept away from her personal grandson, and why had no one spoken up about it earlier? Then Bashara, for his element, denied any wrongdoing. He claimed that more than one treaties have been made to reconnect Ryan and Doris. However, that Ryan had declined. He pointed to a beyond assertion on Ryan's website, in which he had once requested people now not to contact him, approximately Hollywood or High's well-known grandmother, but many have been skeptical. A few accept as true with that Doris acknowledged, for her deep-seated preference for privateness, may additionally have truly wanted to retreat from the world. Others, however, suspected that those around her had taken benefit of her, consider controlling her interactions and ensuring that simplest to choose few had access to her, no matter in which the fact lies. One truth remains: Doris Day, one in every of the maximum beloved icons in American history, spent the last years of her lifestyle without ever seeing her handiest grandson, and when she was long past, Ryan become left with not anything, however unanswered, questions and a deep sense of loss. At 41, Doris Day's grandson admits what we all suspected, that his grandmother's later years had been no longer as non-violent as they appeared for years. The world viewed Doris because the embodiment of happiness, a celeb whose sunny disposition and heartfelt performances added pleasure to millions. However, the painful truth of her final years, certainly one of isolation, managed get admission to and unanswered questions, has left a lingering sense of thriller. After her passing, Ryan Melcher endured to replicate at the years he lost together with his grandmother. He often questioned if she had ever puzzled why he stopped traveling. Had she absolutely been stored within the darkish, or had she in reality selected to allow go of these family ties? Some, like Doris's longtime publicist Charlie Cullen Walters, argue that Ryan's version of events isn't the complete reality. Walters insisted that efforts were made to deliver Ryan and Doris back collectively, specifically round her 90th birthday in 2014, but that Ryan had chosen to remain distant. Still, others close to the circle of relatives accept as true, with that Doris's supervisor had a ways greater manage over her life than many realized. Irrespective of who turned into accountable, the give-up end result remains the same. Doris Day and her grandson have been saved aside, and the opportunity for reconciliation became misplaced, forever beyond the own family turmoil. Doris's very last years had been marked by a deep dedication to animal welfare. She spent her days caring for the animals on her 11-acre ranch, tending to rescue puppies and advocating for spay and neuter packages. She had lengthy on the grounds that left behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, selecting as a substitute to commit her time to, 'cause she truly believed in. She was additionally known for her frugality and easy way of lifestyles, no matter her status as a Hollywood legend. Doris lived modestly, consuming off paper plates and retaining a washing machine in her bedroom. She in no way sought attention or accolades, even turning down the Kennedy Center honors and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. However, whilst Doris selected to step away from the spotlight, the tale of her lifestyles and the questions surrounding her later years keep to fascinate enthusiasts and historians alike. Her dying in 2019 marked the quit of an era. However, it also reignited a communication about the darker facet of fame. But in the end, Doris Day's legacy remains untouchable. She turned into extra than just an actress, more than just a singer. She was a force of nature, a woman who defied the odds and overcame heartbreak time and time once more. Her tale is one in all resilience, love, and mystery. Our reminder that even the brightest stars may have shadows lurking behind them. Do you believe you studied own family legacies? Include hidden truths that subsequently floor. What could you've got guessed about Doris Day's grandson before his big reveal? At 41, stay tuned for more unexpected memories and take into account to sign up for use again for the present day updates.